Episode 200!
Let's
go!
Dude, I didn't think we would ever get here. Glad we are with you again. Being here, it wouldn't have been right with anyone else but Devin Walker for 200.
Yeah.
Did I do the first, the 100th, and the 200th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like you doing 30 and 40.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's like doing the first one, 30 and 40, which I believe only Mark Long was able to do. I wasn't on 30.
I think that's probably right. Is that a Bloody Mary?
It is a Bloody Mary.
Oh.
That's a phenomenal
It's
idea.
actually a Bloody Maria.
Oh.
Yeah, which sounds gross, but is delicious.
But hold on, what is that? I'm
It's
pretending
just
like I
tequila.
know. I don't know.
It's a tequila instead of vodka.
Oh, you just gave me an idea.
It just blew
And then
their
I
mind.
typically use lime instead of lemon, but I didn't have any lime, so I went lemon, and honestly, it's not as good.
No. I wonder, have you ever done mezcal? I wonder how that would be.
I've done mezcal. It's delicious. I thought you were going to be like, have you ever done meth? I was
I'll give you questions right off top.
Right off the bat.
yeah, the hard-hitting questions everyone wants the answers to.
Well, you know, Rick and Karina are near Reno, so full circle. Full circle.
That's rough.
I'm sorry.
You can't say much when you're in upstate New York, all right?
I know, it's true. Not when you're near good old Rochester.
Yeah, Rochester.
Buffalo.
What a vibe. Rochester is like the karaoke capital of the Northeast.
Is it really?
Yeah, you wouldn't expect it. I went up there for the Travelers. It was at Oak Ridge or something in Rochester. And every bar we went into, every single one, we started going to bars at about 4 p.m. the night before. And every single bar we went into, for lunch, there was karaoke. Someone singing
That's
karaoke.
so funny. I want to know where you were now because I'm from here. And I'm like, I've done it
Every
twice.
place. And the one place we went to had like a sound guy. And they were like a light guy. And he was like doing lights on the stage. It was sick.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was super interesting.
This sounds super close to you and Tori doing karaoke in Nashville.
Yep. Sold out
You'd think
show,
that
actually.
Nashville would be the karaoke capital.
Speaking of Nashville and karaoke, me and Tori are actually hosting a karaoke party the night, which is doubling as her first birthday party, the night before Challenge Mania Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, wow.
Where my showdown with one Rachel Robbins will
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be live streamed on Zone or something like that?
I told them they should probably want to try to sell some tickets to this, but I was
This
like,
on Devin's Patreon.
Yeah, you got it. I'll live stream it.
There you go.
I'll live stream it. I've been absolutely just hammering content. I haven't released a bunch of it yet, but I've done like an episode or two a day for like the last week.
Wow.
And I'm going to roll it all out kind of at one time. But I don't know if you guys watch the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but I would recommend if you're interested in watching just a disaster unfold before your eyes.
I've heard the drama.
I love those shows.
Uh-huh.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Look, I do miss old school reality TV like Surreal Life with Vern Troyer just getting absolutely smashed and riding his motorized wheelchair
Oh my
around.
God.
Unlocked memories.
That was A1 television. So I might have to check that out.
Yeah.
So obviously team's grown again since the last time you were on 100 episodes ago. You know myself, Rick, Karina, Josh, but Katie Pahura, she joined us from Rochester. And then we've got Alexis Rawson, who you met in Nashville, but she's Indianapolis area. So
yes, I actually was in Nashville and Indianapolis when you visited.
Oh, excellent. Indianapolis is another great city. I actually really like that place. I almost bought a
It
condo there.
is.
Yeah, I almost bought a condo there because they were like $100,000 right downtown. And they have a bunch of sports teams. So I was like, even if I like just Airbnb this out when there's like events going on, it would probably pay for itself. Yeah,
That's so smart.
That was a sleeper. Indiana was a sleeper state, actually. I had a good time there.
Alexis,
welcome, and glad to have you guys here.
Thank you.
Alexis has been trying to like talk us into doing relocating to Indiana and doing like a commune out there. So
We're waiting for the PowerPoint.
yeah,
It's coming.
Tough to leave Reno, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be a lot different if we didn't have some roots in here with the kids. And, I feel bad. Like, hey, you know what? You're getting ready to go to your freshman year. Let's move cross country.
Yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah, I've been there myself. So, okay. As always, Devin, I'll do an intro for you like I'll do for nobody else, whoever comes on the podcast.
Literally nobody else gets intro.
Yeah, everybody else is like,
this is who
so and so.
You know who they are.
Look, I made some changes because I couldn't come in with the same stuff, but it's the same outline. So I don't want anyone to think it's, I'm Robert Frost over here putting this together.
Fair enough.
See if I can get this done in one take.
I'd just like to tell you that I do believe you are safe in anyone confusing you for Robert Frost. I think that is something you can take off your list of concerns.
I can sleep well at night. Of course, joining us for our 200th episode is the intellectual instigator, the professional game player, sports bettor, Speedo connoisseur, also only challenger ever to get a hole in one, first round draft pick, not sure on this one, but big settler of Catan guy.
Oh, it's propping up my laptop.
Day one final champ, 8-season veteran with 13 daily wins, 10 eliminations, 7 wins, aka the Goat Slayer, aka Master Commander, aka Young Dagger, and no longer a Big Amanda guy. Challenge champion Walker. Let's go.
Thank you. Good to be here. Challenge Fandom Podcast, episode 200. Hashtag Challenge Fandom Podcast. Hashtag episode 200. Hashtag Devin Walker's back. Hashtag Mole Man and hashtag Mole Man and Moth Girl.
I had to take a screenshot of that and send it in the chat. And like, if you know, you know. Moth Girl.
So good.
Oh, man. So first things first, I want to ask you more real life than anything challenge related. How's the brewery going?
We sold it.
Oh, you did?
We sold it. So I still have a small percentage of ownership, but we sold the majority of it to a new hungry business owner that is made some really positive changes, and it was working out for everybody. So it was kind of a great ending to a long project. I'm still involved, on the ownership side, but I'm not working there in the day to day. And it's great because I have a bunch of time to do other stuff. So, excited about it.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So this is really a Katie question. And because she is very much aware of how much your girlfriend, Michele, is a Swiftie. She wants to know if you've been indoctrinated.
I need to know.
She needs to know how much are you in Swift.
So, Taylor Swift has bangers. Okay.
She does.
Yes.
Unequivocal, without a doubt. Bangers, certified. I don't like watching her at football games. So I like her less today than I did 18 months ago.
But that's not her fault.
Well, stop existing in my space. Yeah, stop
All
existing.
right, guys. I don't
in
think I
my
can be here
space.
anymore. Bye.
Okay, you have everything you need in the NFL too. Agreed. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't bother me. She's got bangers, and obviously Michelle's a super fan. So I actually got them. I got her and her sister a Sabrina Carpenter Christmas record and a Taylor Swift
Good
record
boy.
for Christmas.
I love Sabrina. Oh, me and Michele are going to be friends. I can feel it.
The Sabrina
I feel it in my bones.
The Sabrina Carpenter Christmas album. Let's dive into that for a second.
Oh, she's a spicy lady.
The Netflix special
Inappropriate.
too.
Yeah.
Not appropriate for Christmas.
Naughty. Yeah.
Not family
It's
Christmas.
a naughty Christmas special.
Really? Yeah,
It's like Bad Santa, but for girls. Well, not really just for girls. For
They were
everybody.
like playing it at their like family Christmas, and I'm like, well, all right, like I guess we're bumping this, but
That
I
was
didn't
a
realize
choice.
what it was. I thought it was like, because I saw her at the VMAs, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, it's pretty. I had no idea who she was until I saw her at the VMAs, and I was like, wow, she must have been like really like putting it on for the VMAs. But that's just like her on a Tuesday.
That's nothing.
Yeah, the Christmas album. Definitely parental guidance recommended, I think.
Not just her Christmas album, though. Her last
Christmas
album, too.
album,
For concert,
Uh-huh.
all of it. Parental guidance.
She's not Disney Channel approved anymore.
Is that where she started?
I don't remember, to be honest. I didn't do my Sabrina Carpenter research for today. I didn't know that she was going to be on the table.
I'll be reviewing the album.
Yeah, it's an open roundtable right here. So, we all have those moments where we hear a song. I think once you get past the age of 30, 35, and you're like, wow, this is graphic, and they are playing this on the radio. And then I think back to what I was listening to when I was 10. And it was like Rex and Effects, Rump Shaker, and I'm like, okay, maybe it hasn't changed too much after all.
Rump Shaker is a great song.
It's a jam.
Sabrina Carpenter, Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. Wait, Sabrina Carpenter was on Boy Meets World?
The new one.
The new one.
Right? The remake.
Yeah.
Boy
I
Meets
was like,
Girl Meets World.
Girl Meets World. I read it wrong because I'm a Boy Meets World.
No.
It's Girl Meets World. Sorry.
I thought it was like Cory's little sister for a second. That almost fucking blew my mind. Remember her? She was always bopping around the house being like, pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Great character.
So last time we talked, it was right after winning 38 Ride or Dies. And then, we kind of talked about upcoming seasons, and the World Championship happened, and you weren't there. We all thought that was a big fucking miss on production's part by not bringing the reigning male champ on to a season.
It was a huge miss. Absolutely huge miss. Also, massive miss. So I had been called for CBS 2 and World Champs, and it was a massive miss on both instances. CBS 2, I understand because although Cory hasn't won, Cory is an iconic player in the game.
Right.
He's gone to multiple finals. He's kind of written the book on a version of the social game, and he performs well, in eliminations. He's a very good challenger. So, and then you can't argue with Wes and Johnny. And all the other challengers from that were CBS people. So it was just those three: Cory, Wes, Johnny, I believe, on CBS 2. Is that correct? Wes was there,
that's
right?
correct. Yeah, USA 2. That was.
But World Champs, there were some spots available.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would have been if you walk me into that season, having just won with Tori, having played the entire game with Casey, having played the entire game with Jordan and given him $38,000, and with the other players that were there, plus with that format, and doing the same thing with Johnny, and the players that were there, Wes is there. That game was blueprinted for me to do really, really well in.
Yeah.
Male, female partners where you don't know anybody, you get picked, you get selected. Like it was that format. It's hard to say you would have won one that you weren't on, but I would have been at the end, guaranteed.
I think you take Theo Sarah's spot there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
With whoever you're partnered with.
100% there at the end. And Jordan's fucking really tough to beat, but at that stage, it's like, do we even let him get there again, knowing that he has a very capable partner? It's like, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. But I thought that was, honestly, that like hurt a little bit because I was like, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
Like this is like, that is a title you cannot take away ever. You're the global champion.
Yeah.
And I'm like, which part of me on the last 3 seasons that I've done has not been good enough to get casted for that? It's crazy, honestly.
Here's my thing, and no offense to Yes, because he's an internationally known good guy, like just a decent guy. But having him on there when he won All-Stars 1 compared to having the last flagship winner who's went to the final multiple times, you know, it just didn't make sense.
My last 3 seasons at that point had been Double Agents, where I stole the show with a rant that will live in infamy literally forever. By using math as an insult.
Hey, Josh, what's 8 times 9? I will. Bob, what's 8 times 9? I swear to God.
Devin will just keep going and going and going.
What's 8 times 9?
So that's in and of itself probably worth the invitation right there. Then we run the entire game and go to the final in Spies, Lies, and Allies with our entire alliance. And I win that final by hours if we were to use aggregate score. I smoked everybody in the individual portion, including CT, until we got on teams. And my reward for winning by hours was that I didn't have to go into an elimination. I was like, okay, perfect. So the first place and second place award was the same. We end up coming in third on that one. And then we go dominate the entire game and win the show. I was like, there are not many 3-show stretches like that. And then you don't get a shot at global. I was like, damn, this is kind of, I was a little salty. I still am, honestly.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
100%.
We were salty, and it's not even us. Like,
We're just fans. This is bullshit.
So I do have to ask real quick off the cuff. Do you remember the 20-digit code for the safe still?
Oh, God.
I could get pretty close. I'll give it a try. So I know it's 10. I want to say 1004 1015 0121 1001. It's something like that. It's like it's dates. So it's October and January, I believe.
Oh,
That's how we broke it down.
That's definitely wrong, but I know there's 15 and 06 and 21 are all in there. I just don't know in what order.
05 12 10 16 1002 1014 0621. Locked in. We'll never forget it.
But I guess it's not locked in forever.
that's okay.
Liar!
It was locked in.
Liar!
Good job, Bert.
Look, it was locked in for what you needed it for.
Busted again.
Look, I mean, you had that thing for a solid year after, so that's impressive nonetheless.
Yeah.
So when you get the call for 40, I mean, we all know that people, you know, some people talk before they get the idea of who's going. You have a general idea, but you show up to the airport or at the hotel and you finally see the full cast. What's your thoughts on that?
Where's Wes Bergman?
Thank you.
Literally all of us.
I said this on my Patreon. Do whatever you have to do to get. I said film 41 first. If it's a conflict issue, a timing issue, film 41 first, and then film 40.
Yeah.
Like, do whatever you have to do. Go from 39 to 41 to 40. I don't care what you have to do. Pay him $1 million. Just give him $1 million to get off the plane.
Yeah.
He has to be there. And I mean, I knew he wasn't going, and I tried everything in my like universal energy like persona to somehow, without getting like telling him to get him to go. I was like trying to like mind control him from Massachusetts to like get on the plane. It didn't work. I was using voodoo. I was doing it all. It didn't work. He didn't go. And I get it. I think there was though. I think there was a way they could have got him there. I just don't think that they felt like it was as necessary as it was. But, and this is no offense to the guys on Era 2, but that's where Wes would have been.
Yeah.
And replace anybody but Johnny. Obviously, so Brendan wasn't there that long. I don't know. Maybe he's got like a bunch of juice that I am not sure about. But obviously, I got to know Ryan and Derek. They're both amazing. But even both of them would say Wes over either of us.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was my thought. I was like, where's Coral and where's Wes?
Oh my God.
Agreed. No offense to Katie. Katie's great, but where's Coral?
Yeah.
Where's Coral?
Yeah. I'd love
God,
to
that
see
would
her
be
back.
awesome.
Yeah.
And look, no offense to Theo either. He had a good, season and a half run, but why isn't Fessy on 40?
Yeah.
Fessy is literally one of the most impressive, newcomers that we've seen.
For Era 4, yeah.
For Fessy not to be on 40 as well was interesting, but I will say Fessy's really good at stuff, but he is boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless he's fighting with CT.
He just causes controversy with the fans, is really what it is.
Yeah, and what's the last one we saw him on was
USA 2.
Ride or Dies, and then he was on USA 2. So I didn't see USA 2, and I heard that he actually was like a huge part of that game. So that would have been a stacked male cast right there. If you go Josh, Fessy, Paulie, Herasio, and Kyland, that is stacked.
Yeah.
That's stacked. I think the only squad, I mean, if you put me, Tony, Jordan, Cory on the same team, I mean, Leroy was gone early. We would have stacked up pretty well against them, but that's a heavy hitter lineup right there between the two of them.
Yeah, that's damn near a starting 5 in basketball too. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. Yeah. I don't know what it means.
Fessy probably should have been there, but we get him on All Stars 5.
Yeah, true.
We get him on All Stars 5.
It's going to be exciting to see. And just a little part, I know you're going to hate me for this. This is going to sit a little bit because we want to release it as 200. So it's probably going to be about the second week into All Stars 5, just to give you that.
Yeah, I don't care. All I care about is that people stop calling us small stars. Stop calling us small stars.
I've never heard that.
I don't know, me either.
Stop calling us small stars. It's too funny. Okay? Guys have to stop.
Little small stars.
I'm going to be honest. I'm refusing the rivals part. Like some of these partners,
some of them
are like, I'm going to be honest. Outside of the Josh thing, I don't know where Ashley and Anissa had beef.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about Ashley.
Words are hard.
She's pretty easy to convince. So if they weren't rivals before, they are now. I think all it took was someone somewhere being like, well, yeah, no, that's your rival. And that's enough for Ashley.
Yeah. She's like, sure, great. Sounds good to me.
Fine. Works for me.
Okay, so I do want to ask this. Feel free, it is about your personal life. So feel free to not answer if you don't want to. But what I wanted to know was, we've kind of heard on the reunion about you and Michele. Did that start on 40, or were you guys kind of talking things through before you got onto the show?
Oh, wait, hold on. What do you mean? Were me and Michele banging before 40? Is that
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes,
were you in that before the camera started rolling?
Yeah, we had banged before 40. And I'll just give a super quick kind of recap of my version of events here, which are different than hers.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's just life.
Yeah, that's what's kind of what I've learned is that if something has occurred in a person's head, then that also means that it has happened in real life. And
don't you know? Why did it take you so long to learn that?
I'm not sure. I don't know. The writing's been on the wall for quite some time, and I guess I finally just really kind of figured it out. But we were always like good friends. We'd talk on the phone all the time. And when I got out of my last relationship, which was after Ride or Dies, like literally the day I got home. So this is a funny story. I had, I don't know if I can tell this entire story, but I can tell parts of it without getting in trouble. There was something that I had gotten after we filmed that may or may not affect your mind. And I didn't want to bring it into America. So I ate it all right after my final interview, and then got my phone back and turned it on and called my girlfriend at the time. And I was like, hey, I won. And she was like, we need to talk when you get home. So for the entire international flight in which I am not sober, I was like walking into the dungeon lair, and then I literally landed. I got home after winning, and she was like, yeah, so this is not going to do it for me anymore. You pretty much have to stop doing TV or we have to be over. And I was like, I just won. So like, and again, now I'm thinking, I'm like, they've already told me about globals. They've already told me about all this shit. I'm like, well, it's not really if this is really how you feel, this is like my career, and I get it. I totally get it. It's really shitty, but this kind of sucks. So that's how that situation ended. And I won. I came home. I immediately pretty much got dumped, right? I got an ultimatum that she already knew the answer to. So I get dumped. And the whole time I'm like stoned. So it was it was
Did it really happen? Are you sure? You never know.
It happened in my mind, so by rule of girl law, it has occurred. Needless to say, me and Michele got pretty close after that situation. Not for any other reason than we really enjoy kind of talking to each other. But in my mind, it was like pretty casual, and in her mind, she had declared her everlasting love for me, which had never happened. Okay.
I was going to say, she brought that up on the reunion, and I was like, I kind of want to ask him about this. Like, I need to know.
There is like a mystery text message that allegedly exists that goes something like, I'm not really getting what I want out of this relationship. And like, I went on a date the other day, and it was like I was distracted by like you, so we can't really have this like friendship that we have because it's kind of fucking with my head. And allegedly, I just responded, "That's not going to work for me," which does not seem reasonable or like something I would do.
We need the receipts.
Yeah, and conveniently, neither one of us can find this text message, right? That I guess was proofread by like all her friends, and it was like took weeks to craft or whatever. So I'm not entirely sure if that happened or not, but that was her, like, I guess saying that's like she was like all the way in. And I really first loved Michele as a person and as a friend, and I knew that I wasn't where I needed to be like a good partner for somebody. So it wasn't fair for me to like, if I didn't care, I probably would have been like, oh, great, perfect. Then we'll just keep doing this. And then I would be like halfway out. but she is not deserving of something like that. So I had to wait until I was like all the way in.
Right.
And so that's what happened in a castle in Vietnam.
So magical. I love love.
That's
Prince
a hell of a
Charming.
story to tell.
Yeah.
Prince Charming. How do you say Prince Charming in Vietnamese?
Google Translate.
I was going to say, like, because when it first happened, Karina told me, because she saw it on social media, and she brought up and she's like, it's different, but it makes a lot of sense. And then we watched like some of our old clips that we put out on Instagram, and there's a scene where you do her birthday party on, I think it's Spies, Lies, or Red or Dice. I can't remember.
Spies, Lies.
One.
First time I ever met her, hit her right, drilled her with my sock right in the dome.
But the scene where you walk out in the Speedo holding the cake, there's a look.
There's a look she gives.
There's a look she gives you. And I was like, oh, okay, it's been there for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So actually in the airport, like literally we got to the airport. I forget where we were. We might have been in Boston, but we get to the airport on our way to Spies, Lies, and Allies. And like at the ticket counter, we're all waiting to get our tickets. And I kind of like nudged her and I was like, hey, I get insider information because like production really likes me and we're partners, me and you. And she was like, no, we're fucking not. She was not into it at all. Because I rolled up like smoking a cigarette and like half in the bag probably, and just kind of cruised over there and was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, I know that we're partners. She was not interested. But first chance she got, she picked me.
Yeah. A little beauty over brawn. So I'm going to choose Devin.
Oh, the second best athlete up here.
As I'm looking around at all of these pairs, one person is pointing at themselves, and it tells me that they might want to actually work with me. And that's Devin. I know what he lacks for in brute strength, he makes up for in brains and humbleness. He's not humble at all.
Number 1 draft pick.
And this is still a point of contention in our relationship because she goes, I picked you in front instead of everybody. And then in literally the next elimination, you can see me standing behind her going like this to Emmy to pick me then after Emmy wins, because I had a conversation with her on the bus and I was like, listen, I have this game dialed. Like, very rarely do you walk in and you're like, well, I'm fucking set. Because we had put into play where all the vets had teamed up. So if we're not going after each other and there's 50% rookies, we've already gotten rid of Kels, who was the only one that was going to wrangle them. So I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but it got to a point in that season where rookies started nominating themselves so they could go in and pick a vet partner. Yep. And always what we were saying is, so long as you give us another rookie team, we will leave you alone. But it also allowed the vets to do what I did, which was raise my hand if your rookie wasn't playing the way that you wanted them to. So, and she will die on this hill that she's not upset that she didn't listen. She'll be like, I wanted to play the game. So on the bus, I'm sitting there. I'm like, listen, you need plausible deniability. I can't tell you anything because I can't risk you having a couple spritzers and going and telling our plan to the rest of the rookies. Okay? So I'm going to come to you literally 90 seconds before we go down into the chamber, and I'm going to tell you who to vote for. So you don't have any time to go run around and try to switch this. And she's like, no, that's not going to work for me. I want to be a part of the team. I want to have influence. Like, I can play this game. And I'm like, no, you don't get it though. We are all going to pick the rookies off one by one, and you are one. So we don't doubt that you are good at it, but that's just what we're all doing. So either you can stay on my team or I can put my hand up at the next one. And she's like, well, do whatever you have to do. So she got put in a rookie team and went home 2 days later with Coriel. And that's just how it played out. But she's still mad at me about that to this day.
Look, I can see that you guys are highly competitive because that live you guys did when you were playing Settlers of Catan, I caught that in that argument at the end. I was like, oh, this is heated. And you were laughing your ass off the whole time. I was like, oh, this is a good relationship. They know how to play off each other.
That Settlers of Catan game was hilarious because I do the same thing every time. I literally do the same thing every time. Like in a game of strategy with like infinite variables, you would think I would defer my path ever. I don't. But I'm really fucking good at that game. And for some reason, she always thinks that I'm going to not like cut her off or like do whatever. I'm like, no, the first chance I get right away. There's only two of us playing. Like, I can't. If I could do it to somebody else, I would, but I can't.
But there's no one here.
It's just us. I'm not going to cut myself off.
Come on now.
And every time she just is infuriated by it. But she's amazing. We have a good time.
You know what? If you can play a board game together and not break up, that's a good sign.
No, I feel like that is a huge thing.
Especially Catan.
I don't know. So I might have been single for a few hours a couple times after Catan. I'm not sure. Again, not the clearest communicator, but the vibe was that I was single.
I played Monopoly with Karina a couple times, and there was a 6-hour stretch where I was really questioning what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I may have gotten kicked out of a hotel room in Seattle over a game of Monopoly with the family. I don't know.
Wow.
I went to go get a drink, and when I came back to the room, they had talked about destroying Dad, and that's what happened.
Wow.
We're ruthless. We gang up on the kids. Like, no. Mm-mm.
They're like, we're tired of Dad winning. He wins everything. He's not winning anymore. And I'm like, I hadn't won a game since.
Yeah. I will never throw a game either. That's the thing. I could make my life so much easier if I just lost on purpose a few times.
Yeah.
Just if it wasn't like 100-0, if it was like 90-10, I would have much better relationships in my entire regular life. But my friends are bad at games.
It's not your fault they're bad at games.
I don't know what to tell them.
It's not your fault you're so good.
I'm not even good. I would consider myself to be average. I'm like, you guys can't see this coming? Like, geez. Right.
Look, I'm going to give you credit. You already picked up on immediate forgiveness. So that's an important lesson right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that didn't go so well either.
Yeah, that one didn't go so hot right there.
I keep throwing shit at the wall, seeing what's going to stick, but nothing really does. Look, I'm running out of tools in my belt here. I gotta start figure something out quick.
Sounds like you met your match, is what it sounds like.
Right?
I gotta find another quiver. Boys running low on arrows.
One thing I really wanted to know about getting into 40 is on that first daily, the invitational, and they put you in those miso soup boats. You had a hole in yours. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I think a few of them had holes because all the boats had like a little pail. And honestly, what happened is I was behind in the puzzle, but I'm pretty good at rowing the boat. And so I had caught up and passed Cory, actually. I was going for my 9th or 10th lantern. And I saw the boat filling up, but I wasn't too far away from the shoreline because I had turned around. So I went out to get 5 or 6, and then I had turned it around. I was coming back and picking them off as I came back. So I'd get closer to the shoreline. And I was like, I think it was the 9th. It might have been the 10th, but Cory was on his way out to get more. So I think he was on like 7 or something. And I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to sprint it out. Like the pail is sitting there. I'm like, I could easily just dump this out. Right. But I was like, no, I'm just going to just go for it. And I always do this. I always do some fucking dumb thing like this, where they were little tiny carabiners attached to the lanterns that were attached to like a little U-ring that was in a piece of styrofoam. That's how they were floating. My dumbass was trying to unclip the lantern when every other person was just ripping them out of the styrofoam. So when I went to unclip the thing, I was like teetering with it and leaning over. And as soon as the edge of the boat touched the water, it sunk in fucking 3 seconds.
Oh no!
It was like I was like in the lead. I'm about to win 40th season on demand. To I have sunk my boat and I'm going to lose now. I've lost and I'm going into elimination. And everybody on my team's an absolute animal, so I don't love my odds. Right?
Right.
Thankfully, Leroy sucks at paddling a boat.
Water's not his thing.
Yeah.
Well, okay. He wasn't in it. I was in it. You can't be the guy that sunk his boat. We got problems. And it was not like they came immediately over to me and were like, hey, you can continue. Like, I sunk my boat. I'm floating there. And while I'm floating there, Cory's coming over and he's like, yo, I'll save you. Right? So like, give me some of your lanterns. I'll save you. And I saw a few of them floating away. I clipped most of them to me. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. And I threw Cory a couple of them and he goes and wins. So now Cory and Tori have won. So I know I'm safe as long as I don't lose, but I think I had like 6 now. So I needed 4 more. And I'm waiting in the water, waiting. And like security or the safety guys there saying, I'm waiting to hear what we can do if you are DQ'd or whatever. After like 20 minutes, he was like, you're free to continue. But I think that only happened because it had been 20 minutes of Leroy doing donuts by the shoreline. So they were like, there's no way he's going to be able to finish.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can't DQ both of them. Let's see if Devin can fucking do it. They probably thought, we don't even think he can do it. Right? Because it was far as fuck. Like, it was like a quarter mile swim, probably.
Wow.
Like, it was far away. So, and I had to go all the way to the back and clip them on, and fucking, there's fish, full of dead fish floating by me. It was terrible. Yeah, so it was not a good look for your boy to start the season. And honestly, it was a bit of a metaphor for how the rest of the game went for me. So I guess that's just how it played out.
I have an idea though.
Okay.
So you really didn't do anything wrong with the carabiner, because I mean, in the past, if you rip things, you're out. So
Yeah.
really, you did the right thing.
Yeah, but in this game, like, I should have realized, and this is again why I think having played Global and having played USA 2, and if you look at the people that made the final for the most part, it's so hard, or got deep in the game, it's so difficult to take a long time off of this game. Well, okay, that's actually not true. I take it back. The worst position you can put yourself in is taking like 2 or 3 seasons off. If you've taken 15 off, everyone's forgotten about you. No beefs that you've created that long ago are going to come back. Everyone's willing to clean slate it and kind of let it go. If you've taken 3 off, people still have in their mind things that you've done, but also if it's rubbed them the wrong way or whatever, but also you're rusty. So it was like a year and a half or 2 years since Ride or Dies when I went to go film 40. And I remember just thinking to myself, I'm so fucking rusty. Because with 40 people, and you're right, normally maybe they would like look at the carabiners or whatever. There's no fucking way they can see that from a drone. 40 people.
Yeah.
Right? So like, it should have clicked in my head that I should just rip these out. It really should have clicked, and that's something that clicks in your head if you've played recently. And that's, you go right down the list of Bananas, Tori, Michele, Cory went deep in the game.
Yep.
Wes wasn't there, and Amanda lost right away. But
kind of par for the course there.
Yeah. And Josh went deep. So like 5 of the 7 people that were there that played that other game all go all the way to the final or the challenge before it. Like it makes, that's why a lot of people don't recognize the advantage that somebody like Johnny has, knowing A, that he's going to get cast for every season if he wants to do it. So he can always be preparing. And B, he gets to play the game in such a different way than the rest of us because he can use like 3 seasons to win 1. So he can use a stepping stone season if he wants to like build relationships that he knows will pay him back in the next seasons. And other people don't have that luxury. So I firmly believe that is like a huge benefit.
Oh yeah.
Agreed. And I mean, here's the thing is, and you and Johnny's relationship, or, you know, kind of rivalry, is what we've seen towards the end of the season, played such a dynamic role that it carried the storyline through the whole season.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we looked at the stats, and you were, even though you were out right before they went individual, you were one of the most mentioned players throughout the season.
Like second or third place. Yeah.
And it shows that, and you guys kind of alluded to this on the reunion. And I had some more questions about this, which was, it seems like some of the issues started on Ride or Dies when you guys talked about a plan you had with Mariah because of their relationship.
Yeah, let me give the full situation here. My dumbass actually felt bad for Johnny because, and now granted, this may have been, do I think Mariah's like a clout chaser? No, I don't. Mariah's got like professional athletes and like famous people in her DMs. She's not ever putting that shit out. She like wants to be home, chilling, playing video games, like hanging out with the neighborhood kids. Like Mariah's a really good person.
Yeah.
But she had said this while we were out all by the fire one night, kind of like drinking or whatever. She had said verbatim, Johnny's not my type. If we weren't in this situation, I wouldn't give him the time of day.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I interpreted that as, okay, well, obviously, and Fessie's your partner, right? Who has no rules and who is known to emotionally manipulate women to further his place in the game. So I'm like connecting the dots in my head and being like, he's not your type. If we weren't in here, you wouldn't like him. So you literally must be using him for the game.
Right.
Like there's no other conclusion that I can draw myself to. What Mariah meant by saying that is he's not my type because we're in here and we've spent so much time together. I actually have proven to myself that like I've been won over, right? Like it's not that I'm using him for game. It's that in real life, I would have never even given him an opportunity. And I'm glad that I'm in this situation because I got an opportunity to get to know him when normally I wouldn't even put myself in that position. That is not how it came across.
Yeah.
And they're all like, we had it. There was probably 4 or 5 people who had the conversation about it being like, do we tell him? Like, what's the deal? And so I didn't want to tell him because I thought it would come across exactly how he thinks it did, which was, oh, he's trying to fuck with me, right? So I was like, Tori, you got to like let this guy know because he's about to get embarrassed on TV. And I would not want that to happen to me. So I legitimately went to her and was like, go to him and tell him what's going on so he can at least make an informed decision on it or ask her about it or whatever. But I don't want it leading back to me and then like us getting shit for it later in the game. And Tori Tori's so bad at keeping a secret. So Tori goes over and tells him, and he's like, well, who told you this? And immediately Johnny's like, or Tori's like, Devin did. What the fuck is going on here? But this was before we had made the Operation Thought Plot, which was to get her to admit that she's using him for game, to clarify it, right?
Yeah.
And we had, honestly, a pretty good bulletproof plan that we didn't end up going through with, because Tori at this point had gotten like sucked into it. And she was like, this is super fucked up. I'm not comfortable doing this at all. I don't want to like bait her into saying something that's going to make her look bad. So she like went the women empowerment route and ruined our plan. Which seems to be a theme, ladies of the challenge. So that's how that happened. I was being so genuine in the fact that I was trying to protect him from what I thought was a rookie coming into the game and exploiting him to move themselves further, because they saw the writing on the wall with the connections that were getting formed. And it really was delivered that way. So for him to take that and then to put it into this situation, it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
Well, and not to say that Mariah wasn't using him for game. Let's say that, how you said, she would have never gave him the chance a day, but because she was stuck in a house with him so much, she got to know him, his personality, and really did like him. It, for whatever reason, it didn't work out on 39 for him. You know what I mean? And it did look kind of bad on national television.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like I'm not saying you're Nostradamus, but you might have had a good read on that.
She pretty much said, dude, she said it straight up. And also, there's another reason why it's not the same. I don't fucking know her at this point. I had no idea who she was. So I'm coming to somebody that I have known for 5 years and being like, hey, this random person we just met 3 weeks ago is saying, you know, you're not her type and she would never be interested in you if we weren't in here, right? He's going to Michele and talking about me, somebody he's known for 5 years. It's completely different. I'm questioning the intentions of this stranger. You're questioning the intentions of the person you've known for 5 years that just played the game with you and gave you $38,000 at the end. Like, it's apples and oranges. True.
It's 100% different because, once again, from what you just told us earlier, is that you and Michele had started something prior to a show. It's not like you guys met for 3 days and then on the show we're like, let's make this a relationship. You guys have known each other for a while.
Dude, honestly, and this is what I've come to realize about the Johnny and Michele relationship, is Johnny asks incredibly leading questions, and he's very good at getting the response or the answer out of somebody that he wants to get. And I think after 39, he had been burned by Mariah, and he needed somebody else to share that with. And Michele was vulnerable after 39 because of what had happened with Callum. And so, but she didn't want to use that. So instead, it somehow I got roped into it. Right. Yeah. So he kind of led her down the path of we're being mistreated, when I'm telling you guys right now, I am the best fucking boyfriend on planet Earth. I'm a very good friend too. And I wasn't fucking with her because I knew I couldn't be your friend. I couldn't be your boyfriend. So when you get those two together and you get them both, they both do like kind of, I think, do it to each other a little bit. He knew what he was doing. And he knew that like planting the seed of doubt in the validity of our relationship would cause conflict. And he was right. So, but let's not mask it with, I care.
No.
Mask it with that it came out of a place of caring. Come on. Are you fucking stupid? Like, it's unbelievable.
The only credit I'll give Johnny on this is because one of my main things on if I were in the challenge is if someone confronted me on something I said, but it would blow up my game, I'm going to lie. Right? That's the credit I'll give him is you called him on it and he bold-faced lied to you right there. And then they rolled the tapes of exactly what he said.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy because they rolled the tapes of what he said, but what's so wild is that they missed the conversation by the pool, which set this whole thing in motion. Now, mind you, I'm not the only one that he has said this to. Multiple people. And I want everyone to know this. I don't even care. I don't even think they would care if I shouted them out by name, but some of them are going on 41. So out of respect for their game, I'll leave them out of it.
Yeah.
Multiple people called me after the season and said, yo, you're not crazy. I was told the exact same thing, that Johnny's going to be here for 2 weeks and check out. I was told the same thing. You're not fucking crazy. And how he's shifted this now is that he saw the cast, and he saw the people that were going home, and he had to save the show, right? So that's why he decided to stay. It's like, bro, just admit that maybe you had this plan to go home. Fine. Maybe you did have it. Then you saw a couple big hitters fall early. And then you started looking around the room and you saw the format of the game and you said, oh, fuck, I can win this thing.
Yep.
So at that point, just come to me and say, hey, that whole me leaving thing is off the table.
Yeah, I'm not leaving.
I'm going to say it. Okay? Yeah.
Just kidding.
And I would have been like, all right, bet, let's fucking do this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the thing, was because you guys covered a lot of ground in your relationship in 38.
Yeah.
You guys made up a lot of ground in there.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It felt like such a regression for him to lie to me about something stupid like that I was like, what is your intention then? If you're trying to convince me that you're here to leave early, you obviously don't trust me. Right? Because this conversation would be going very different if you were like, hey, let's just run it back like we did on 38. Right. You stay on your side, I'll stay on my side, and we'll kind of keep this thing moving. But Johnny wanted everybody. He had Emily. He had Laurel. He had Aviv. He had Jenny. He wanted Tori. He wanted Michele. He eventually gets Rachel. He wanted all the girls.
Yep.
He wanted them all to be on his side because they were going to be the ones that were picking targets. So any boy that had a large web was a threat to him.
Well, you were a huge threat because of your relationship with Tori, Michele, half the women on that cast.
Yeah.
Also, people like me when I'm nice.
Yeah.
Now, they don't like me right now because they've decided to be fucking morons and I don't shut up. Like, what's so funny, what's honestly one of the funniest parts about being on this show is because I'm such a curmudgeon about the cast, when they want to talk shit about each other, they all kind of come to me and like let it out. And I'm like, yeah, no, they're a fucking idiot. I've been trying to tell you, right? But they won't say it publicly. They all fucking are so irritated with each other, don't like each other, fake as fuck, smile in each other's faces, won't call anybody out for anything. I get all the tea, and I won't name names on who's saying what. I get all the tea because everyone knows it's a safe place to hate with Devin, okay? I get all the tea, and like, if it weren't for the fear of it coming back to bite them, and I just don't have that fear, for better or for worse. I shut the fuck up for 2 seasons. I went to the final and then I won, right? I know it works. It's easy. The only thing I haven't done that I know for sure works is lie, right? Which is what Rick is saying essentially.
Yeah.
You know how fucking easy this game would be for me if I lied?
Oh, yeah.
It would be so easy. Like, Johnny and Rachel's main point against me is that I played a stupid social game because I told the truth. I was like, no, I don't believe you. If you're still here in 6 weeks, you said 3 weeks, have 6. If you're still here in 3 weeks or 6 weeks, I'll help you go home. Right?
Yeah.
And in their minds, what I should have done to be a good challenger is lie, is to keep it to myself, know that he's lying, and then go after him in silence. You know how fucking easy that is? Like, there's not even a challenge in that.
Yeah.
Like, to just sit there and lie directly to someone's face and be like, on my family, I promise I won't send you in. And then to send them in. Like, it's so easy to play that way.
Yeah.
It is.
It really is. And honestly, I truly, like, from a moral standpoint, think that it's so, I want to choose my words clearly here. And I'm going to preface this. In a game like Big Brother or Survivor, where the name of the game is to lie and deceive, it has been built into the fabric of the game. Everyone there knows that everyone is going to lie and everyone is going to deceive, right? So and that's about being the best liar or the best deceiver. And that's about, you're not even going to get voted for at the end if people think you got there without screwing them over. They want to be bested by the best. Mm-hmm. So they're going to vote for the person that screwed them over the most. In the challenge, it's a facade of honesty and loyalty because we play recurring seasons with each other. But I think it's so pathetic in that situation where the game is not about lying, it's not about deception, it's about performing, and it's about creating alliances and having loyalty in those alliances and going to the end and dogging it out with the people that you picked. If you want to have a good alliance, then you're going to have to risk going against good people at the end. And if you think you can win, then you can do it. I think it's so pathetic to advance your position in life through lying. I truly do. Like, I think it's pathetic in life to do it. I don't like when corporations do it. I don't like when fucking people do it. I don't like when people lie to get money. I think it's gross. And I've never felt comfortable doing it. And I don't think I ever will, because forever it will be on TV that you lied for money, which I think is so pathetic. I really do. That's what I think.
Yeah.
No, and look, I respect your gameplay just like I respect Jordan's gameplay, which is if I shook your hand, I'm going to honor it, right? Like, because he had that choice between Cara and Rachel and it came down to who he shook hands with first. At least that's what it's portrayed to us as. Mm-hmm. Myself personally, though, look, I'm going to be honest. I have, like, if I were to play the challenge, there's two main rules I have. Never nominate myself to go in. Lie if confronted.
Yeah. Well, the only reason you have to lie is if you get caught. Yeah. And if you shouldn't get, like, it's not even a game that you should have to lie in. Like, I've played it 8 times. I've never had to lie once. And I got a pretty good, like, track record. It's like CT is another really good example. CT is ambiguous. CT does not lie. CT doesn't promise you something and then take it back. He just won't promise you anything. He'll kind of like lead you in a direction, and then if it comes down to it, he's confident in his ability. So he doesn't, like, if you have to lie in this game, like truly lie or like backstab someone or go back like on your word or do like a double deal or whatever, you are not confident in your ability. You're not
100%. No. And it's super accurate. All right. So I know we've got a lot on here and I don't want to keep you on here for 2 hours because I also know it's divisional Saturday and you're a big football guy.
College basketball mainly, but yeah.
College. Well, look, there's a reason it's college basketball season. So I'm wearing the Wolfpack UNR. It's one of the few sports we're actually somewhat decent at.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So I feel you there. So I want to get through some of these questions. As always,
I got all the time in the world, to be honest. I don't have to do anything until 4, so it's really up to you guys. It's the 200th episode. Hold on, can I get something? Hold on, everybody, hold on. That got a little too serious for the 200th episode. Eat my ass, Rachel and Johnny, you fuckers! You lying, pathetic fuckers!
Shit.
12 seconds later.
This is officially a banquet.
It's the banquet.
Oh, shit.
This is officially a banquet.
I love it.
Okay, look, I don't normally do this. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Oh, what are you doing?
Do you have a banquet?
Episode 200.
Oh, shit. Is Rick getting a drink?
I don't know. Oh my God. I know exactly
what is he getting?
He's doing.
I know. I don't know. I'm nervous.
It's a banquet.
Be taking care of Rick the rest of the the day.
He's taking a
Oh,
shot.
shit.
He went out to the garage to get that crown off the top of the fridge out there. It's his special crown. He's had it for like years, and he takes a shot on only special occasions.
I've never seen Rick drink.
Nope, he doesn't drink.
Ever. Look at you bringing out another side of him, Devin.
Episode 200.
I'm at 630 days of no alcohol, so I'm water.
Nice. 630.
In my Blazers cup.
That's excellent.
Is that Screwball?
It is.
It is.
Oh, I love Screwball.
With a little bit of coffee, and I put a little bit of chocolate in here, a little chocolate peanut butter coffee. We're going to make this happen.
It's a banquet.
I have sad news. I think I'm gonna have to take off. My Zoe girl's standing here next to me, and she's been sick, and now she's in tears. So,
when you gotta go,
I gotta go on mom duty. But Devin, good talking to you.
Great to see you.
Thanks
you for being here. Feel better, Zoe.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Love you.
Bye,
Bye.
Love you.
Oh, I feel bad.
Well, it's your fault. So
It's all my fault. It's all my fault.
yeah, you should have thought about that before you did this.
No, god damn it. This is why I can't have nice things.
Yeah, you should have thought about that.
I think the last time I drank on the podcast was when you were on too.
I think it was, yeah.
It's almost a year to the day. Oh no, it's not. It's a month. I think it was February, right?
I believe it was.
I think it
February.
was
2 years to the day. I think it was February. Yeah, because I was in that fucked up Airbnb.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah, construction. I was listening to that, and the whole reason I had the question, because I'd spaced it about the Mariah thing, was because Tony was talking about, at the time, Challenge UK was airing, and this guy fell into the water off a heist challenge, broke his face.
That was the guy.
James.
Yep,
that's the guy.
That's the guy.
They actually showed me photos of everybody before I went in to tell me, so I knew what their names were. So I didn't have to call somebody like Purple Shirt or whatever, like Laurel and Cara did, that they thought were so funny. They thought that was so funny that they did that.
God.
They thought that was hilarious. Yeah, it's good, nice humor, ladies. you got her good. So they showed me photos of everybody, and they showed me a photo of that guy with his two black eyes, and I swear to God, that's why I didn't pick him. I was like, this dude has had a rough ride. Give him a break, dude. Yeah,
Right off the bat.
yeah, give him a break for sure.
So going back to my rule number 1, which is never volunteer to go in. How did you feel about era 3 really every era doing kind of the volunteer thing, like I'll volunteer to be a target?
We started it. It's the best way to play in that situation. You got to play the odds, and it does two things. It gives you time to prepare, right? And it allows you to pick who you're going to be going down with. Now, when we made this decision, we didn't know there were going to be individual eliminations. So we thought we could be switching up, getting doubles at some point. So me and Tori are like, we've done this before. We're going to be confident with each other. We give it our best shot to volunteer now. You could also mask it with who the other people were. It took the power away from the person that was the target, that had won the elimination. Now, what I'm surprised, and what I would have done, and what I'm very surprised about, is if I win that elimination and you raise your hand, I'm not necessarily picking.
Yeah.
Everybody. So my issue with this season was that everybody was such a pussy. We can say that now again, by the way, we're back. I'm not entirely sure how or why, but I've been hearing it all over every podcast I've been on, so I get to say it.
Nice.
I don't know why it was this way, but I guess it was because the guys were picking the girls and the girls were picking the guys, but you couldn't pick the person that picked you.
Right.
So there was really there was never going to be any backlash unless that person went around an entirely another round and then won an elimination and came after you. So I didn't have to go into any. Obviously, I went into one and lost, but if I would not have picked the people that were raising their hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been like, you three are friends. You're all targets now.
Yeah.
100%.
Exactly.
One of you is going to win and have to save the one of you that you don't want to have to choose between. Nobody made anybody do that. Like, the decisions were all really simple. And it's just interesting, again, the way, like, Jordan does not have to game at all.
No.
Jordan has to be nice to people, take his frustration out on production, which he does, instead of on castmates. He doesn't yell about the dishes anymore. He just screams at whoever has a fucking lanyard on near him. It doesn't matter what position they are. Could be the garbage person. It could be like he's an equal opportunist production screamer.
I want a montage of him just screaming at all the different production throughout this season.
It's insane. And I just have to say this because I've been accused of like assuming that the show is rigged or whatever. I want to be really fucking clear right now. If the show was rigged, there is no way they rigged it for Jordan after all the shit that he fucking said to them this season. Okay? 0% chance they were rigging it for fucking him. Okay? Anybody but him, maybe. Him? No.
No.
Yo, I don't want to breach my contract, so I'm not going to give the details here, and Jordan will get a kick out of this, so I don't even care. He went ballistic several times.
Oh my God.
Like
dang it, I'm so mad. I want to see it.
Scorched earth, ballistic several times. If they were going to reward anybody for their behavior, it was not going to be him. Okay?
He's the last on the list.
Just know that.
I love that.
But I say all that to say Jordan doesn't give a fuck how he plays.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He's like, fine, if I got to go into a few eliminations, I expect to do that. Right? So he's fine raising his hand. Cory knows that he doesn't have as many relationships as I do. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of a fusion between those two things of I'd rather know I was going in, know who I was going in with, and I'm pretty confident in my ability. So it seems like I had a bad season. If I win that elimination, if I beat Kylan, if it's something that favors me, that's not a quarter entanglement contest, and I beat him, I walk to the final.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I walk to the final because I don't lose. I'm never gonna. I might win a couple. I'm not gonna come in last.
Right.
I'm never gonna come in last. So I'm gonna be middle of the pack. And who won every single fucking thing?
Exactly.
Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan and Tori won so much this season.
So
yeah, you'd have been good.
Big chilling.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk to the final, and then I get my fucking ass kicked. So it wouldn't have mattered anyways. Look, it wouldn't have mattered anyways.
We're not the only ones to say this. We think the only one that mighty gave Jordan a run for his money is Wes in this final.
In the final. With all the swimming. Yeah.
Fessy could have. So
is Fessy a good swimmer?
Fessy's a great swimmer. So of the people that were there, yes. But also, here's the thing, like, it's so hard to tell so when you mix up the chemistry of a cast, and there's somebody there that's like, so Johnny's never going to come at Jordan outright, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you mix up that cast a little bit, there's probably some people that are looking at him, at Jordan, thinking, we can't let him get there. So the boys would have had to have been the ones that somehow figured out a way to launch him. But if he doesn't get there, it's anybody's race.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's
obviously Kylan wasn't going to win it, but
yeah,
Johnny knew he wasn't. Johnny knew he wasn't going to win. I think I give Derek a run for his money in that. I probably come in second in that final if I'm there with those five guys, because I can swim not fast for a short period of time, but the same speed for a long time.
Right.
Which is what those were.
Yeah.
And I got a fair amount of body fat. So your boy's floating. And I'm kind of
Karina and me were talking about. She's like, "How would you do that?" Oh, I would have just done this the whole way because I'm not thinking at all. You know what I mean?
I would have hitched myself to Michelle's buoy and got a tow.
Dude, she fucking killed it.
She killed it.
She crushed it.
Yeah, she's good. She's a great swimmer, and she's really good at stuff. That's why I was so annoyed in Spies, Lies, and Allies when she wanted to have an opinion. I was like, listen, we've got it dialed in, sweetheart. We can fucking win this shit. Okay, just relax.
Well, I think it was kind of heartbreaking not seeing her get first. Not that I'm not a fan of Jenny or anything, but like seeing Michele as the underdog coming through and winning season 40 would have been something great.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah, I mean, karma points are bullshit.
Yeah, they are 100%. I've got a question about that for you here in a second. But the fact that she still came in second within a point of Jenny, who does fitness and endurance for a living.
Yeah.
She 100% proved that she deserves to be in this game and she's a force in this game.
Oh, what's wild too, and this is, I know what's going to be kind of a tough pill to swallow for a long time, is that untie the box thing to get the key when they had to keep going up and down.
Yeah.
Everyone else just kicked through the box.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Michelle's going up and down, untangling it.
Yeah.
She was there 15 or 20 minutes before anybody else. So if she just kicks through that box, she is the sole winner and no karma points can catch her.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
But she played by the rules of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
If the checkpoint's called dive and untangle, and you dive and smash the thing, I don't know. I'm like, that doesn't seem. But again, I don't think the game is rigged. I think it's poorly refereed.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
And
I don't think it's rigged. I think it's very poorly refereed.
And constructed, like a lot of their issue is like there's a lot of things that don't have clear defining lines and a lot of things that, like what if situations that they don't have an answer to, like what if this happens or what if that happens. And, we saw a lot of that on the USA 1 final where it was just like they had no answers for all the what ifs. And, that's a big issue.
Well, and I mean, you were pretty vocal about it throughout the season, like with the Herasio Derek elimination. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that one I actually have to take an L on because it wasn't the rules as they were explained. And this is always, I don't know why I didn't think this had happened because I always think this happens. When we sit down to listen to the rules, no one is listening. Half the girls are fucking picking flowers and there's a couple people flirting and some of the guys are like farting and laughing at it. I'm like, I mean, even we're all adults also. So I'm like, hey, in my mind,
Are we though?
I'm like,
are we?
It's tough to tell. It's really tough to tell on All Stars 5. But I'm sitting there like fucking dialed in on whoever's saying the rules because I'm like, this is where I'm going to get an edge. Yeah. Like, this is where I'm going to know what a rule is and you're not going to know what a rule is. And that's going to be the difference between me winning and you losing. So I'm paying really fucking close attention. For whatever reason, Derek, Herasio, Anissa, and Jenny, nobody listened to the rules.
Oh, man.
No one listened to the rules. So after Anissa and Jenny went, we were like, what are the rules? Can they pick the pieces up for you? Can they put them in the board? And then both girls are like, we don't know. We're not sure. I don't know. And so then the guys go and the obviously the situation happens where Herasio's ball gets stuck and then Derek's peg isn't in the board. It's on the board. And so after it's all over, we ask them, what were the rules? And the boys are like, we don't know. We don't know what the rules were. And they'll both admit this. They didn't know what the rules were. So after they showed them the footage and everything, it was clear that they had said very clearly in the rules, if the peg is in the hole and falls out, it counts, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So even if that peg, it wasn't even in the board versus on the board, it was in the board at some point, at any point. Now, I disagree with that because Derek risked catching a peg, dove for it, hit his board, and they all fell out. In my mind, I'm seeing 40 pegs, 40 holes. One person has 40 pegs and 40 holes. One person has 39 pegs and 40 holes.
Yeah.
Bad rules.
Yes.
And the people that played the game couldn't explain to us what the rules were. And when they came out after an hour and 15 minutes of deliberating, they didn't tell us why or how or what the rules were. They just said, Derek wins.
Right. Yeah.
So it looked like Herasio got screwed. His ball got stuck, and he had 40 pegs and 40 holes, but somehow he lost.
Well, I think this is a reoccurring theme that happened through the challenge, especially this season. Because we see it in the last daily with Jenny putting together that board puzzle at the end, where the top and the bottom.
So I didn't see this. I didn't see this. What happened here?
So two of her pieces of her puzzle were they were in the wrong. They were the same color boards.
She just had the top one on the bottom and the bottom one on the top, but it would have taken 20 minutes to pull all these 4x4s out, restack them up the right way and put them back in. But they show it and they call it winner. And you hear TJ, it's not mic'd over. It's Jenny.
You hear
wins.
his horn in the back as she's walking away with her arms up and the little thing comes over, but they're saying that it was just a bad edit and they just used the wrong clip or whatever.
Which is more unforgivable.
But,
yeah, they used the wrong B-roll, which, I mean, you're doing season 40. You can't make that kind of mistake.
Yeah, like I think they bite themselves in the ass a lot with the editing too, I think. And like kind of going back to the rules is like, when TJ tells us, you have to have 40 pegs in the board. That's what the fans are going to go off, right? Like whatever happens behind the scenes of the rules that they tell you guys behind the scenes is, great for you guys, but the fans are going to react to what we're told on the show. So I feel like they do themselves a disservice by not being fully transparent with the fans on what the rules are. You know what I mean? And little things like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't take that. Like, how sometimes on a show where they'll like put up the objective of like what the thing that they're doing. Like a quick screenshot of the rules would. Now, the issue with that, though, is that then that would have to be the way that it's appropriately enforced. And they are balancing. I will give them this. They are balancing a fucking ton of shit.
Yeah.
So there is, I think human error plays a fact in this much more than anything intentional. I don't think they're intentionally, I don't think that was like, oh, Jenny's such an interesting character. Let's make sure she goes to the final.
Yes, no.
Let's make sure Jordan wins. It's like, Jenny's not interesting, and Jordan was a dickhead the whole season. So like in those instances, it wouldn't make sense to keep one and not the other.
Right.
Exactly.
But what they're getting at was the thing with Jenny's board is if she had to redo it, Cara beat Rachel by a time of 3 minutes. Cara would have came out the winner.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have had to go into elimination.
I know it affects
and it would have been Jenny versus Tori. And
Jenny's, fucking 4% body fat. So she probably sinks.
Yeah.
It could be listed as a $400,000 mistake. Like that's what it is. And it's unfortunate that that's what it is, but it always comes down to the horn. Okay.
Yeah.
The first step in this process is that we need a functioning horn. Okay. You guys have no idea how many times the horn gets pressed and it doesn't make a noise.
No,
that's what happened. That's what happened on Herasio and Derek's elimination.
Right.
TJ was trying to stop play. He was trying to blow the horn when Herasio's ball got stuck. He was trying to blow the horn. He was unable to blow the horn. And so Derek continued on. They came out. got Herasio's ball out, and then had to retroactively go back to a stop clock and time it. And I believe they got it correct. I believe they got it correct, but that is not the intention of the game.
No. Right.
No.
It just feels like, and not saying that they got it right or I'm sorry, not saying that they got it wrong or anything, but it just feels like it would have been easier to just reset the elimination and start over. Like,
they were close enough where I said, and I really feel this way, overtime and no one cares.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Overtime and no one cares with half the pegs. Reset half the pegs, overtime and no one cares.
Yeah.
That's my thing is, look, as a sports fan first, I understand the ref's not going to get every call right, and there's going to be some ambiguity in the game.
Right.
That's just part of it. I get that. Mm-hmm. My thing is there's not set procedures. Look, like there's a karma vote that you're going to put in. That's fine. But you're going to give us a tie, but you don't give us ties in anything else. You'll strap Jordan and Derek back onto the side of a fucking truck.
Make Jordan and Laurel do a freaking trivia face-off, but you're not going to do a tiebreaker in the final? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Swim 100 yards, first one, anything. You know what I mean?
Literally anything, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, man. Like
that was probably, we are all exhausted. We've brought this thing to the end. It's like our permits are running low. We got to get this boat back. Like there's a million things that like I don't always think about that they have to like legally go through to even be able to film or get a drone in the air or do whatever. So that, no one likes a tie. No one likes a tie.
No.
Especially when it's, okay, you guys tied for first and second place.
Yeah. What? No.
Huh?
Wow.
The things that make you say,
It was like, huh?
Yeah.
How did this work out?
You split the first place money, give second place to Michele, give third place to Tori. There's no loser.
Honestly. Or you want to know what? Rachel, you were in third. Jenny, you were in first. Rachel, you bring your third place money with you to first place.
Yeah.
Oh.
Michele, you get second place. Here's your 75. Rachel, Jenny, Tori, you got fourth. You don't get anything. Sorry, you got in fourth. Those are the rules. But you guys are splitting 425. Michele, you get your 75 and you get your second place.
Right.
We have a first place tie.
Yep.
And a second place and no third place.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It works for me. Yeah.
It's like you can always play Monday morning quarterback. And I'm not sure that they were, prepared to do that or whatever. But it kind of sucks that she had the season that she had. And obviously I'm biased, which it was not flawless. Like there's one thing to get to a final playing a flawless game. Spies, Lies, and Allies, Devin. Flawless. Only elimination I went into, I got called out in a twist at the end.
Right.
Skated the whole game. Won shit, skated, pissed nobody off, all the way to the end. Flawless game. Michele didn't play a flawless game. Michele had to scrap, claw, fight, nominate people, and the karma points come back full circle. And I said this on my Patreon, and I'll say it again here. There's so many things flawed with this. It needed to be a weighted system.
Yes.
So if you leave first, your vote should not count as much as someone who left last.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
If you leave first, you're only basing your vote off of things that these people have done to you previously.
Yes. Thank you.
And someone like Rachel, who hasn't been on the show in 20 years,
thank you,
is not going to have the same karma, not from this season, but from the game in general, because she's only playing with like 3 people that she ever really played with.
Yes.
Right? So those people, and they're all adults now with fucking kids. They all love each other. They're so happy that they were a part of this thing, this OG thing. There's this big love. None of them have fucked each other over recently.
Exactly.
So,
well, and even newer players are going to lean more towards, rating someone like Rachel high because we grew up watching her. She's the OG. She paved the way for us to be here and have this career.
That's long time karma, though. That's not
exactly.
That's not
That's
karma
not from this
season, which is the way that it was. The way that it was like showcased to us.
Yeah.
Be careful. Excuse me, burping.
You're good.
Be careful how you treat people this season. Not be careful how you have treated people for fucking 20 years.
I can't remember exactly who it was, but I want to say it was like Brandon or Leroy or somebody gave Michele a 1 because you won Survivor, so fuck you. I'm like, that literally has nothing to do with the challenge.
Exactly.
Was years ago. Like, what the fuck?
And like Brandon, and no offense to Brandon, but Brandon gets as much say as Josh and as Cara.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too, is Paulie very clearly was like, Tori, 1 point, but if he would have known the growth that happened with Cara and Tori this season, totally different score that goes there. And I'm a firm believer
100%.
in that. Same with Michele. You know what I mean?
100%. And here's the other thing that I also don't like about karma is you are penalized for going to the final with your alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Era 4 had 3 people that went to the final.
Yeah.
Era 1 had 1 person. Michele loses the karma vote by like 4 points or whatever. That is because everybody in Era 1 was eliminated. So they all gave Rachel a good score. So Michele was penalized for having a good era. Rachel won this final because A, her era fucking sucked, and B, she hadn't played the game in 20 years. So you got rewarded for having a shitty team and taking a bunch of time off.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is...
And she's throwing herself a party. Please. You're throwing yourself a party? You came in third. You have terrible hair and you came in third. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Look,
you go to bed at 7:30 in the fucking evening. You have terrible hair, bad breath, and you came in third. And you're throwing yourself a party?
And we said this. We said this on our last recap.
Devin just spilling the tea everywhere.
The tea. I didn't bring my tea towel today.
We said this on the recap of the final is the karma points change the core structure of what makes the challenge different. Because the only thing that differentiates the challenge from Big Brother and Survivor is that it's based on how your performance is.
Yeah.
You win based on your performance, not by somebody voting for you.
You don't have to like me.
This one, the winners were decided based on a vote.
Yeah, it was stupid.
And that's crazy.
And it wasn't even based on a vote. At least Survivor and Big Brother weigh the votes. You don't get a vote if you get eliminated first.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have to make the jury.
And when you do cast your vote as a jury member, you're only voting the people that are in the final. Like, these votes were being taken all season. So people were trying to give votes to help their friends that didn't even fucking make it to the final. So all the votes are skewed to begin with.
Exactly. Paulie voted for 32 people. Cory voted for 8.
Yeah. Like, that's crazy.
Right. Which is why I said it always should have been, okay, you have first wave, it's a 1 or a 2.
Mm-hmm.
First wave, it's a 1 or a 2. Either you want them to win or you don't. Next 4 people eliminated, 1, 2, or 3. Next 6 people eliminated, 1, 2, 3, or 4. The final people eliminated, final 4 eliminated. I don't know if the math is right on that. It might be. It's actually pretty close. The final 4 or 6 eliminated, you can go 1 through 5.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's like to give Brandon, Leroy, Amanda, like who even went, Katie, the same.
Yeah.
To have that weighed the same as Cory's vote, who played this game, who got in his mind fucked over this way or fucked over that way, or to have that weigh the same amount as Josh's vote.
Yeah.
Like Josh played this game split in the middle, right? He had to pick and choose where he wanted to be and when he wanted to be. Josh's road in this game was not easy. Now, he made it difficult on himself but it was not easy. So to have Brandon's vote matter as much as Josh's is ludicrous.
Yeah,
exactly. And the fact that you're basically punishing people that have to win eliminations to stay in the game.
Yep.
Instead of the winners picking targets, you're making the elimination winner get blood on their hands and forced to go back down. And then they're getting negative points in the karma because they inevitably named someone a target and they got sent home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Michele, who had a great season, went to 3 eliminations, won all 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She got screwed because of it.
Yeah, gets nothing for it. And the last point on karma that I want to just bring up, because I think that it's important to say this, and it's a metaphor for the way that the game works in general. Michele gets overtaken by Rachel due to karma.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, Johnny says something like, the pain on her face is like such a joy for me to see watching my girls win, right? But in the same breath or in a similar breath or a similar sentiment, we'll say the karma points are bullshit because I never had a chance to win. Yeah. So the reason it's a metaphor is that when something happens to somebody, they feel very differently than when it happens to somebody they like.
Yeah.
So if it's happening, and this is a metaphor throughout the whole show, and it honestly is a character flaw in a lot of us. If this thing is happening to me, I care a lot about it. If this thing is happening to somebody else, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that is so multi-level hypocritical across the board for everybody. And what I tried to tell Michele is there was no way for you to win this, because if you had surpassed, if you and Rachel had swapped positions and you had surpassed her, everybody would be discrediting you. They would all be saying the karma, you only won it because of the karma. You're not an actual champion.
Matter.
It doesn't matter. So everyone would be saying there was no way for her to do well unless she Jordaned it. Right?
Exactly.
Unless you personally take karma out of the equation by dominating everybody, there's no way to win. Because now you've gotten replaced and everyone will justify it because Rachel's a fan favorite. But if it goes the other way, then you get shit on because you replaced a fan favorite.
Yep.
The fucking fans would be rioting if Michele took first place from Rachel or even second place from Rachel. The fans would be fucking rioting.
Can someone explain to me the appeal of Rachel?
Okay. That's not my spot.
It's the nostalgia.
Look, like my thing with Rachel,
because I actually went back and I watched a couple clips. She was mean.
She was a mean girl.
She was
an absolute so the nostalgia of a bad person is better than like the reality of a good person in the moment.
The last 2 years that she's worked out with everybody. She's had a YouTube. She's posted everything. She's a trainer. She's trained the challengers before they've gone on the seasons. Tori's worked out with her. So she's made those connections coming back prior to All-Stars. But prior to that, she was a mean girl.
Right. So she hasn't changed. I just want everyone to know whatever facade's getting put on at a workout class she has not changed. She is still a mean person. And I'm so confused as to where like the loyalty and the like celebration of Rachel comes from, because I'm a pretty down to earth like person. She is completely full of shit. Her whole persona she's like the epitome of what I'm talking about, where if it happens to me, I'm going to be furious about it. And if it happens to someone else, I don't care. Yeah. And I'm like, she's not funny. She's not funny. She's not like particularly good, right? I think she won one challenge and came in third in a final. So like, she's not funny. She's not very good at stuff. Where is the allure?
So for me, the nostalgia comes is one of the first seasons that I really got into real world and road rules, where I was actually old enough to understand what was going on, was her campus crawl. It was her, Darrell, Kendall, Shane. So that's where my nostalgia comes from. I didn't watch her in the early seasons of the challenge because I was in my early 20s and I was out getting fucked up at bars. That wasn't my life. So that's where the nostalgia comes in. But look, here's kind of like the key example of how she hasn't changed. She speaks all season, gives a toast about women empowerment and standing up for women and doing all these things. And then Banana Straight says to you, Michele, women are such catty creatures when they get pushed back in the corner. And that's, I'm not saying it verbatim, but
Something
basically
like
generalizes all women. And Michelle's sitting there like...
No, Rachel is sitting there laughing about it in the corner.
Yeah, Michele was fucking physically hurt by this conversation.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And Rachel's sitting there smiling in the corner while Bananas and Avery are playing fucking footsies.
Aviv.
Or, yeah.
You don't know names today.
No, it's a screwball. It's a screwball.
It's legit crazy, and then to come at me. So I pointed this out on several different platforms, and I'm like, the hypocrisy is just the contradiction is too hard for me to pass up in this moment, because you paint yourself like this person that's like there for the people that need you the most, and it's all about women, right? Okay, and then in this moment, the person that you're playing with does something, so you don't care. But if the roles were reversed, if I said that about Jenny, it's World War III. So the lack of consistency is so off-putting to me in so many different ways. And her haircut is just terrible. It's insane. Who cut it? Who cut her hair? Put them in jail, throw away the key, revoke their license. Who cut Rachel's hair? I need to know.
As a guy that cuts his own hair, I know a self-cut when I see it.
It's one of life's great fucking mysteries, okay? But I need to know who cut that hair.
Look, what got me is what's up with the onesie and the lowrider jeans?
Yeah.
Can you stop that? That's not what's hot in the streets
All
right now.
I know is that on decade seasons, you need a bad haircut to win. Jordan came in looking like Simple Jack on 30, won the whole thing.
Yep.
And then Rachel came in with a bouffant. Rachel came in with a 1940s
Not just a bouffant, a bouffant.
with a bad bouffant. Came in third and somehow won. They were like, yo, we got to give her something. She can't talk all this shit all season with that haircut and come in third, right? We got a karma, call the karma police.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that.
It's a good haircut. I know.
I know fucking Jack reference.
You can't get over it.
You make me happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Karina doesn't have words. I don't have words.
I was so excited when I first heard she was going to be on. I was like, oh, let's see some growth, right? Because I love seeing the OGs come back, see their growth and stuff. And then I started watching stuff and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then she started talking fucking mad shit on you and mad shit on like your guys' the whole Vacation Alliance. I was like, fuck Rachel. I'm done.
It's crazy. And I got to be honest, I don't want to go on like too much of a Rachel tangent, although her hair is terrible. But what I will say is she wanted to work with me so bad.
Mm-hmm.
She approached me in the hotel before we got in the house.
Oh,
this is when OGs thought they were going to pick new school people.
Oh,
and she's like,
interesting.
She's like, Deb, I just want you to know, if I get a chance to pick, I'm going to pick you. Like, you're my first pick. And I was like, oh, that's flattering. Like, thank you for that. And if I get a chance to pick, like, you'll be like my 6th pick probably because it's really weird. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But I was like, okay, great. That's nice to hear. When she, without remorse, sent Anissa in, against Katie.
Yep, that one got me too.
I said, "You're done."
Yeah.
And that's and hate it or love it, like be mad at me or don't be mad at me. I expect loyalty from people because I give it 150%.
Yeah.
So the moment she made that decision, and I looked at Josh and he was unfazed.
Yeah.
And I looked at Tori and she was unfazed. And Casey was unfazed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh no, this is not where I want it to be. Now, Tori completely redeemed herself. And Casey completely redeemed herself because they both saw the writing on the wall, which was there's a literal split in the house and Josh is playing both sides. Very rarely do you get a physical representation of playing both sides.
Yes.
In this circumstance, we got it.
Yeah.
In this circumstance, we got a physical representation of playing both sides. So obviously, Tori goes on a crusade for me. And I'm so thankful for her for that. Because it was just nice to continue to haunt people from the grave, but B, because I think that she got to have a lot of fun doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
And not having to bite your tongue and not having to worry about this or not having to worry about that. Like playing free and shooting from the hip is a great way to play the game. It's super fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Casey was not in on Josh at the end. So like she also made her stance. And I love Josh, but this is the thing about Josh that he does not, and he cannot wrap his head around. Okay, you're friends with everybody, or with two feuding sides. You have to tell us. My only qualm with him is that it took me asking him to pick a side to realize that he was this torn up about it.
Right.
Yeah. You got to let us know so we can adjust our gameplay. No one's mad at you for being friends with both sides.
Yeah.
We're mad at you because you were friends with both sides. There were people that were off limits to you. You were gatekeeping information about your game so that you had the best game, but you weren't letting us know so we could move on in the same direction, right? If I think it's all about this core and you've got your fucking tentacles spread out in other directions and you're not telling me that, that's limiting my game. And if I know what we're doing, if it's like, hey, these people are off limits for you, I'm not going to say their name.
Yeah.
These people, then these people are off limits for me. Mm-hmm. But Josh didn't want that. He didn't want it to be equal. He wanted to have his core alliance and his kind of fractured, like mysterious alliance and play both. And that's where it is hurtful, honestly, because I expected more from him. I expected him to treat me the way that I was treating him, which was take anybody off his scent immediately.
Well, I think Cory called him on it right. You know, Josh is a victim of his own success with his friendship. But Cory said, if you're going to call me family, then treat me like family.
Right.
Yeah, Cory, though.
Yeah. No. Like, from what we hear on the reunion, Cory's a 3-day at minimum check-in. Make sure he's where he's
Cory's a 3-hour check-in, bro. But he'll never check in with you. Cory expects you to check in with him.
It's like, bro, that was 24 hours ago.
Yeah, Cory's a friend of mine. Like, I like Cory, but Cory's situation in this game is very convoluted because I've said this before. I think you guys can all attest to this. I'm not sure everyone can, but is there anything you wouldn't do for your kids?
No.
I don't want to play with you then.
Yeah, that's the ultimate fucking card.
I don't want to play
That's valid.
with people that have kids because there's nothing they won't do for them. And you're correct for feeling that way. You're correct for feeling that way. But it's a built-in, I can fuck you over because it's for my kids and no one can say anything about it. Well, I don't want your kids to starve.
Harper, Dad, when are you coming to get me? When I'm done talking with Devin.
Priorities.
She knew last night. I was like, hey, I'm going to come get you tomorrow afternoon because I have an interview. I'm going to be chatting with Devin. I love you, but I got to make this.
The kids were like, what are you doing today? We're like, oh, we got an interview. Go play Roblox in the background.
Yeah.
Yes.
When they're gone, though, like when the people are away from their kids, they start missing them. They get that 1 week phone call. I've seen people's whole demeanor shift after that phone call. They come out of that room and they were your friend before and they talk to their spouse and they look at their kids and they are not your fucking friend when they come out of that room.
Who just came out of there?
Yeah, it's reactivated. And so Cory is very much that player. And thank God he's a good dad. Cory's an amazing dad. Cory has grown so much as a person, and he's really like been able to be a role model for people in his position. In co-parenting, in a biracial relationship, having biracial kids, like Cory is crushing it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing he won't do for his kids.
100%.
Which means
100%.
everybody at the most, the highest you're going to get on that list is 5.
Right.
Yep.
You're not coming before his wife or partner, and you're not coming before his kids. So the best you're looking for is 5. I got ones available, baby.
Yeah, I got
one. Depending who's there, I got 1 seeds available. Okay. So it's just a different game.
I do want to ask you this. If you were, let's say you win that elimination against Kylan, do you have a plan for Jordan or are you letting him make that final because of your relationship with Tori?
I had beat him once, so it's so hard to say in retrospect knowing it's swimming. If I know it's swimming, see you later, bro.
Yeah.
If I know it's swimming. If I don't know it's swimming, I'm taking Jordan all the way to the end. Here's the thing. I think, and honestly, if I knew, even if they told us there's a swimming element, you can't win the final if you don't get there.
Yeah.
Jordan's going to help you get there.
Yep.
Delusional or not, I think our skill sets are so different. I could beat him. So I'm probably taking him there.
Well, and my thing the whole season is, you know, considering the format, how do you convince these girls to even target Jordan and risk losing him in case the finals like a partner situation? As a woman, I want Jordan there.
Yeah.
So how do you convince these women to even take a shot at Jordan because the men can't do it?
You have to win one and you have to say, pick who you want me to send in.
Okay.
And then you have to recall the favor later. That's the only way.
Yeah, I guess that's a good
point.
You
have to get someone in a situation where it's like Michele and Olivia, and you have to say, listen, you guys don't want to go against each other, and I get that. So I'm not going to put you against each other, but there's going to come a time in this game when I need you to do something for me, and I'm going to expect if one of you wins that you do it. So you save one of them, the other one wins the elimination, they're both back in the game. You hope they get a rogue win. You hope Jordan loses. And then you call in your favor. And then he probably still wins his elimination and comes out.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah, true.
So, it's like the stars had to align. The stars had to align for him not to win this. He was the best player coming in. By far. Typically, CT would be up there, but because he was handicapped by his era, I know everyone loves Derek, everyone loves Brad. They're not
who they used to be, and they're not.
No,
They're not very good. Darrell is in my opinion, a level above the both of them. Darrell's not a threat to me. He's not. CT is a threat.
Yeah.
Mark Long is not a threat. So you got one threat on that team. I don't see Johnny as a threat. Having played with Derek Chavez, I think Derek's more dangerous than Johnny.
Yeah. Well, I think he proved it in the final.
Yeah, heck yeah. This whole
I've been saying
season.
it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Derek is smart. He's fast. He can run. There's nothing he won't do to win. Like in terms of eating something or whatever, he's got an immaculate social game. He is more dangerous in a final than Johnny is. And then you go to era 3, and I'm not worried about Cory. I'm not worried about Tony. I'm not worried about Leroy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you go to era 4. I'm not worried about Theo.
Right.
No.
I'm not worried about Theo. I'm not worried about Josh. I'm not worried. Honestly, I'm not worried about Herasio or Kylan. And Paulie would have been the only one that I thought if he got there at the end, maybe he could win. Like, I think Herasio and Kylan are great competitors, and I really do. I would be surprised if they could pull it together for 3 or 4 days. It's just an experience thing.
I was going to say, do you think more experience in being in the finals environment?
Maybe Kylan now that he's run one, but Herasio kind of got robbed from his.
Oh,
and he's a dog, but there's just so many variables. Like, it very rarely comes down to like just individually go and do this thing and come back. So I don't know. I guess I'm definitely not worried about Theo or Josh. I guess Kylan and Herasio are on the fence for me, and I would be worried about Paulie. But that leaves what? 7?
Yeah, if that.
It's like 7 out of 20 that you're really worried about if they get it.
And that's my thing with Herasio. Like, if it was like straight endurance, like who can run the furthest without pissing blood and dying?
That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
But it never is that. There's so many more variables, like you said.
Puzzles, math, whatever it is.
There's someone's kryptonite and all that. And that's where I think, look, I think you don't get properly rated because of that, because you look at some of these players and you're like, they have a weakness. They have a weakness. Guys like you, CT, Jordan, you guys are good at just about everything. You might not be the best at eating, but you're one of the best at puzzles. So that makes up for it.
There's no denying that I'm going to be liberal here. Top 20 all time, no doubt.
Yeah.
I would.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
No doubt. I'm top, I think, 12 in Money One. I think I'm 12th in all-time interviews, and I'm top 10 in name mentions. All time. Not like in certain seasons. All time, 40 seasons, right? And when we got All-Stars 5, we're going to count that. We're moving forward. So I'm inside the top 13 in any viable category. There's really no way to deny that. But the reason that, and this has always happened to me specifically, nobody likes that.
Yeah.
Because I drink until 5 a.m. and I wake up at 1 p.m. and then I beat you, which is annoying.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
It's so frustrating for someone that like really cares and studies the game. I've never watched an episode I haven't been on. I've never watched. I've only watched about half of those, so I'm not studying the game. I'm just reacting in the moment. Like, I am completely aloof to the game that we're playing. If I studied and lied and ran, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
I don't care enough, though, to be fair.
You're still a champ.
Yeah.
Look, I do have a question for you, because you're one of a very select few that have seen all three of these guys, in a final and recently in a final. And the typical argument between greatest of all time is Bananas, CT, and Jordan.
Correct.
If you were to rank them, would you put Jordan at number 1?
Jordan, CT, Johnny.
Yeah.
That's mine too.
Yeah. And And Johnny, only because of the amount of times he's played.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So like at that point, I want to set this up, and I don't know who we can get to sponsor it. Maybe Mr. Beast. Put $500K in the line. Honestly, they'd probably get out of bed for $250. Put $250 on the line. Run a continuous. No checkpoint stops. No, you won by an hour. You get a 30-second head start.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You put everybody in a race, right? So let's put Rushmore in a race, right? Because for me, it's Jordan, CT, Johnny, and then Darrell and Wes in honorable mention.
Yeah.
And then from the new school, you can throw in a few people that we think maybe would be good, but either haven't proven themselves yet or whatever. We can throw Fessy in there. We all think Fessy's
baby goats.
we all think Fessy's gonna win at some point.
Yeah.
Right? I put myself in that category. I'm gonna get there. We throw Cory in there, right? And you can throw a couple, like whoever other guy, maybe Herasio and Kylan.
I was gonna say I want Kylan and Herasio.
Yeah, so that can be your 5 of like 5 people that have only won one or none, and then 5 people that are like arguably Rushmore. So let them dog it out in a continuous time final. So
I love this. Who do we pitch this to?
Multi-days. You can, the only thing is that you have to sleep, for X amount of hours. But if you get to, or like you have to be in a tent for X amount of hours. So if you get to that tent 2 hours ahead of everybody, you have to be there for 6 hours, then you can leave.
Oh, okay.
So
I love this.
Same time all the way throughout.
If you want to sleep an extra 15 minutes, go for it.
Right.
If you want to do whatever, go for it. But you are going to you get a little watch or whatever, and you run it for like 2 days. And there's food at checkpoints or whatever to get you there. I firmly believe, so that's the GOAT to me.
Right.
Oh, hell yeah.
Who wins that? Who can get there? All of those people have proven they can get there. Right? Socially. All of those people have proven they have the social game and the daily capabilities to get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, who's the best? I think Jordan wins that race.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
If it's like rowing, swimming, running, puzzle solving, eating, hiking, like all the shit that you have to do, I think Jordan wins that race.
Yeah,
So
I think
for
so
me, Jordan's the GOAT. Now, I don't think Johnny comes in second.
I don't think Johnny comes.
I don't think Johnny comes in third. I think Johnny might lose that race.
I think it comes down to him or Darrell.
Yeah.
With those boys that are all really good at shit, I don't think Johnny has a chance at third. But because of his resume, all time, looking at it like all time, Johnny in his prime probably comes in third.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, Johnny's first 10 seasons, he has 5 or 6 wins. Now, albeit one of them's the Island of the Runes, which is a large team and a totally different type of game.
Right.
But it's an impressive streak for those first 10.
And CT has a chance at winning that race if there's like a weird thing, if there's some weird 3D puzzle station or whatever. If it's truly 50-50 endurance puzzle, or 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, like endurance puzzles, things like eating, like random games essentially, then CT is right fucking there. But I'll tell you who I think is third or fourth, and it's me and Wes.
I agree. I think Kylan and Herasio tie for about 4th, 5th, or somewhere in there. Probably 5th, 6th, since you and Wes are 3rd, 4th.
That style race, I'm not like a long race where I don't have to move fast, but I have to solve a bunch of shit. I got to eat, and I got to do like what the challenge is incorporated, and there's no voting. I'll be in the lead at some point. I'll tell you that much right now. I'll be in the lead at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Day one final champ.
Day one final champ.
Final champ.
Yeah, I mean, it's written. Right? We know this.
I win game shows.
I actually have a quick question now that we kind of circled back to the votes. And I know we keep trying to get away from these karma votes, but it just keeps cropping up. And I have to ask this.
That was so gross. I'm so sorry.
After seeing the karma points and, you know, how they were used and how they affected the game, number one, does that change how you approach future seasons?
No.
And number two, do you think it's going to change how other challengers approach future seasons?
Everybody has been a little bitch for a while now, so I wouldn't be surprised if they continue down that path.
That's what I'm afraid of, honestly.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. So what it's turned into is who can like outlast the time of being there. So most of these other games, Survivor's 39 days, Big Brother's 100 games or 100 days. For the most part, the Survivor players start to implode around that like 40 day mark.
Yeah. Oh, all of the light bulbs just went off.
Yeah. So it's like,
I don't watch Survivor either. So
what you're conditioned to do, like it's to be at the end. And I'm tying this back into the question. I'm not going on a tangent. The Big Brother players are so much more conditioned of it being like halfway.
yeah.
Especially if they made it like to the end. Like Josh just starts his engine like halfway.
Yeah.
Like Josh just starts playing at the halfway point. Casey just starts playing at the halfway
Yeah.
point.
That's a good
They all just start playing at the halfway point. So like Jay will always make a big move too early. Michele typically will make a big move too early because they're not. Now Michele knows how long the game goes. So she's like more conditioned to just like letting it kind of ride. But she had to win 3 eliminations to get there. I think when she plays again, you won't see Michele in elimination until week 8 because she's going to know to lay low, whatever. CT, Jordan, Johnny, Wes, Tori, lay low early, right?
Yeah.
That's just what they do.
Yep.
So the game script to be successful is to adjust your gameplay and not ruffle feathers anyways until the halfway point. So all the good people do that already. To go back to your question, all the good people, except for me, do that already. Right? Cory doesn't say a fucking word to anybody for 3 weeks. He doesn't.
It's like that grumpy old guy at work that doesn't say hi to the new person till 90 days.
He's just no. He's nice to everybody, but he's bringing good vibes. So on a night out, he's buying drinks, whatever. But from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on a daily basis, he's not interacting with people. He's doing his thing. He's working out. He's got his compressions on. He's fucking reading a math book. He's laying in his bed. If someone approaches him, he'll talk, but he's not going out of his way to get to know people. And no karma is better than bad karma. So I think it will affect the way that new people play the game, because typically you want to come in and make a wave so you can get a recast.
Right.
Because if you're boring as hell, now you're going to have to be real careful as to how you do that. And people that are short-sighted enough to think they're going to use the same twist twice will fall for that. They will never bring this back.
No. I really freaking hope not.
Karma votes are dead.
I hope so.
Dead. In fact, if they ever bring it back, it'll be like a House of Villains thing where the person with the worst karma wins.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They'll be like, this is like the Devil's Den, season 47, the Devil's Den. And it'll be like, now, be careful how you treat people. It could affect your score. And at the end, they're like, everyone hated you. You win.
They're going to do another season of like good guys. What was it? The good guys and the bad asses or something? Yeah.
They'll never do this again because I think they know what a massive fucking flop the karma was. For all the reasons that we pointed out, I think they recognize that it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
No,
sense
absolutely.
to give everybody the same value that was just casted on the season when you can. Okay, maybe that makes sense if you got everyone you wanted, but you didn't get everyone you wanted.
Yeah.
You filled some
Absolutely.
fucking holes with some people that shouldn't have been there. Let's be honest.
Clearly. Yeah.
Come on.
Absolutely.
So
It was planned poorly. I feel like with the challenge, that seems to be I love this show so much, but it's like always the thing that happens is it's just like lately it's been wah, wah, wah. Like, we have watched this show for so long. I'm like, do you actually listen to us fans? Because I know everyone says that production and everyone behind the scenes does, but I'm like, but do you? Because you should know that this is not what we want. Like, props for doing something different, but it's just not it.
how dope would it
it's
have
not
been if
hitting.
we continued to be on Eris?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I loved the opening format. I honestly, I didn't even mind.
There's no
going
need to nominate your own team. Like, that was crazy.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
If you won, you should have been fucking good.
Yeah.
If you won, you're not nominating your own team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pick people from the other three teams,
Exactly.
and one of them is going to win, or you're going to win. And if one of them wins, the other two are in. And if you win, then you can pick from the three of them.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
keep the eras tight,
Yeah.
right? Winning and then having to nominate your own player just incentivizes throwing the challenge.
Yes.
In anything, I know it's a part of the game, but like, for the viewers, it is so not a part. It's so frowned upon. They let us know how frowned upon it is every day when they read the rules to the challenge that say, if you lose on purpose, you can be sent home.
Yeah.
So, like, we are not supposed to throw challenges.
Right.
Yeah.
It incentivized throwing challenges.
Yeah.
Laurel looked at her team and said, I got nothing but dogs on this team. On the ladies' side, I'm throwing this.
Mm-hmm.
Emily went home because
Incentivizing
of it.
throwing a challenge is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm still angry about that.
I think they made the same mistake they made on Invasions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It should have been the new school versus the champs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Instead
You
of
know?
going against your own team. Yeah.
Look, because don't get me wrong, I don't mind seeing, in the beginning, I didn't mind it. Let's kick two people off every team, get this to a manageable cast where we can get it done in the timetable we have with the budget we have. Because we already blew it on CT's pro tips. So we got to make it.
And ATVs.
But, make it where, era 3, you have to pick a target from each other era, something like that.
If you win, you keep your team safe. Like,
Yes.
that just makes sense. Like, you win, you save your team.
You're
All the
good.
other teams get nominated, and you know what I mean? Like,
Keep your team together. It was an advantage to have more players in every situation. So you shouldn't be able to incentivize, or it's just a bad idea to incentivize people to throw challenges. Fine, we got that, like Cara versus Laurel situation or whatever, but like, how much more interesting is it if they work together?
Uh-huh.
It's like, they're going to do the thing we know they're going to do.
Yep.
yeah.
It would have been so much better if they would have
And we're
shown
going to
us.
cut it all out anyways because
Yeah.
it's so
Exactly.
emotional and it's so low. It's such low blows that we're not
Yeah.
even going to show it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But we're not going to show the Cara Tory resolution that
That we would have
building for
loved.
5 years.
I know, it's so weird that the decision typically gets made to. They did the same thing on Ride or Dies. They didn't emphasize. Me and Johnny had hours of conversations.
Yeah.
Of like getting to a place of being able to forgive each other. Hours. Like, it was not like an immediate, like, okay, you're my friend.
Right.
It was like,
Yeah.
fuck, you have to sleep with me in this room now. Like, this is awkward as fuck. And like, you did some shit that hurt my feelings, so we're going to talk about it.
That's not immediate forgiveness like you have with your girl. Like,
Yeah.
that's
I'm going to have to immediately forgive my bladder here in about 5 minutes. So what else you guys got for me? Because
I was going to say, if you need to take a break, because that's why I got up. I was like, I need to go to the bathroom, and I hit a dart a couple times before I came in.
I got to launch at 4 anyways.
Okay. Yeah, we've only got a couple of questions left, really,
right,
that we haven't touched on.
So, Alexis wanted to bring this up, obviously, with her being in Indiana. You said you were a big Caitlin Clark guy and thought she was going to do great in the WNBA. Are you still following her? Are you still excited about her career?
Yeah, she's outstanding. It's absolutely outstanding. I mean, there is no reason to dislike that person unless you are a hater. That's the only reason.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the top players in the league. I don't know if she's the best player in the league yet, but
she's the most fun to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so like most people, I gotta lift this up. Are they shoot like a girl. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. Yeah. Most people in WNBA are like they shoot like a girl. Caitlin Clark plays basketball like an NBA player. That's why she's fun to watch.
She's the evolution.
It has nothing to do with anything else aside from her being the funnest player to watch. Because when we're watching these games that she's in, we're still watching the other team play basketball. None of them are as entertaining.
Yep.
Look, Angel Reese sucks. She's not good. She's not good at basketball visually. She might get 20 and 15 because she's getting a rebound of her own missed layup. Caitlin Clark's pulling up from 30 feet. She's shooting from the logo. She's crossing people up. She's dropping dimes. She had the most turnovers in the league because she was hitting her teammates in the face with the ball.
Exactly.
It's like you can't deny her greatness. Like you really can't.
Angel Reese wasn't even the best player on her team.
Yeah, Angel Reese is not even for me in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I hate the argument of the WNBA about it's like we're giving this person too much credit or whatever. The league loses money every year. You finally have somebody who's bringing money into the sport, and you want to shit on them.
Isn't that the way it goes? Like, why?
Like, you're taking a $70 million loss annually. We took that down to $40 million. Caitlin Clark made you $30 million.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, what's her name for the Las Vegas Aces? Is it Asia Wilson or something? She's probably the best player in the WNBA right now.
Fair.
But comparing her to Caitlin Clark is like comparing Tim Duncan to Steph Curry. It's two totally different types of gameplay.
Correct.
And I'll watch Steph Curry before I'll watch Tim Duncan.
No, Tim Duncan and the Twin Towers with David Robinson was an elite duo.
Yeah, they were dynamic.
But they also had Peja Stojakovic and Tony Parker. All right. Yes. So, like, the surrounding players are going to need to really step it up for me to watch, like, amazing team basketball. And I watch a lot of the WNBA. There is some really fucking great teams. The most entertaining player to watch is Caitlin Clark.
It's not even close.
I look at it like this. My Portland Trailblazers are going through a rebuild. Name a player on the Portland Trailblazers right now.
Simmons.
Anthony Simmons. There you go. Good job.
Yeah.
There you go. And they're fun
most
to
entertaining
watch.
Player on the team.
I think Scoot Henderson's most entertaining too.
Scooty's decent. Yeah, but Simmons pulls up from 34 feet.
Exactly. He followed Dame's playmaking. He's like, I'm going to step into his shoes, and he did. So watching him and Scoot, and these are a bunch of no-name players that are coming up. They're fun to watch. They're still my team, but they're fun to watch. Scoot can throw out like 20 assists a night.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really kind of similar to what we've seen in the men's league, right? Like Michael Jordan fundamentally changed the way the game was played. Steph Curry fundamentally changed the way the game was played with the way teenagers play now. Caitlin Clark is going to fundamentally change the way the WNBA is played. 100%. She's going to bring it to a new evolution, and that's what it needs. Look, it's not Cheryl Swoops and Lisa Loeb anymore.
Layups are chill. Layups are chill. Don't get me wrong. Everyone loves a layup, but a three-pointer.
Yeah,
come on. But a three-pointer. Everyone loves a bank shot. It's fire. What, a 3-pointer? Come on.
And that's the thing is like, you know what? Tim Duncan had a great, Tim Duncan had a great post up and turnaround, but Steph Curry hitting it from 42 feet and then turning around before it goes into the bucket, looking at the crowd, that sells tickets.
Everyone loves a 2-dribble kind of boxy turnaround bank shot from the low block. Okay, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Everyone loves that, but it's not a step back break. Okay.
It's the steak, but it's not the sizzle like the step back three is. All right,
it's not that hard.
I'm gonna need a breakdown of everything that was just said in the last 5 minutes because I'm like,
no,
I don't.
I'm not doing that. We bring you into fantasy football. You get third in your first season. You don't know what you're doing.
Fourth. I got fourth.
Bills and still dominated.
Gaslighter.
I got fourth.
Yeah.
You got all the Buffalo Bills and you lost?
Yeah.
Huh?
You got all the Buffalo Bills and you lost?
Hey, Josh.
Sandbagger.
I don't know if you just happened to skip past my message in the group chat the other day.
Always do.
I figured.
We got Chiefs and Bills fans here.
Just saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just saying that we won.
Yeah, because we didn't have to play last weekend.
Go Bills.
Did you just say go Bills? Yeah!
Go Bills.
Ha!
They have the best fans in the business. A team will lose to them, and the Bills fans will donate to that player's charity.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Go Bills.
Yeah. All right. So, a few last questions we have.
Just a couple left.
One that Alexis wanted to know as well was, what was like the time frame from 40 ending to All Stars 5? You having to go
3
out
weeks.
to that. Wow. So you didn't get much time with Michele after the season then.
No, 2 days. Well, I stayed in Saigon for like 12 days.
You didn't even go home?
No, I went home and I was home for like 3 weeks, but I stayed in Saigon for 12 days. Then I flew home, and then I was flying out of JFK and Michele was flying into Newark.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw each other for 2 days, and then I left.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a quick turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in her mind, and this is something she said to me, actually confessed to me the other night. She said, "I want you to know that while you were gone, I broke up with you about 7 times in my head." So that leads us right back to where I was. When I was, there were parts of All Stars 5 I was single. I had no idea.
Yeah, no clue. Maybe you weren't on hallucinogens.
No. Was unsure.
Yeah, just
Oh my
never
God.
known.
Was unsure. Yeah.
The other question I have is, obviously we've seen the previews for All Stars 5. We see you partner with Leroy. Where'd that rivalry stem from? Was that from what we saw here on season 40?
Leroy did a fake retirement on Double Agents, and he was willing to do anything to win because he was going to retire. And he lied directly to my face several times.
Oh.
Yeah. So going into 40, I was ready for retribution. The first fucking shot I got, I was taking. He just so happened to not even make it onto the, the shooting range because it was gone too quick. But he was like the leading factor in the me versus Josh after me and Josh had started. Was Leroy was masterfully not playing both sides of the house, playing all 3 corners of the house pyramid. And it was like crazy deception. So no one else really peeped it until I figured it out. And then, I mean, there's some things that went on in that season that are actually kind of trash. I don't even want to talk about them because they're like so low. But that was where the rivalry came from, was Double Agents.
You know what? He might have ended up winning that season if he would have accounted for Nani picking Kyle instead of CT.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
That's why you don't let the goat get to the end, right?
Yep, never.
Like, I respect Kylan for always wanting to be Goku and be like, I want to go against the best. I don't want to go against the best. I want to go against people I know I'm going to beat.
Yeah, it's hard to get there, though, because if you take that shot, so that's what Jay always does.
Yeah, it is.
Jay tries to put the fucking cart before the horse. And he's like, well, this guy's a threat, so I have to get rid of him. The only issue with that is when you put a threat into elimination and they come back, they come after you.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah.
So the only way you can like truly win in a situation like that is to beat them yourself. So like that's why the call out is always the best thing, because either you lose or you go back into the game and you've eliminated your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So like
that's true.
every elimination is like the final in that circumstance, which is why I've always loved the call out. So if you get the opportunity, if I'm sitting down there this season and Jordan's available and the other people are, you know, Derek, Cory, and Josh, I'm picking Jordan. Because I think I have a better chance of beating Jordan in a 1 hour game than I do in a 48-hour game. If you don't have that opportunity to pick your poison and you're sending them in against somebody else, then you're really counting on that person, right? And usually if you're sending that person in, that means they've lost, so they probably already kind of suck. So like you're going to send in a really good person against someone who sucks and hope that the person who sucks wins.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is it's not every day that, you know, CT, Jordan, or someone like that get in last and you have the opportunity
to
throw.
They never get last.
Yeah, you throw one of them against the other one.
They never get last.
Yeah, that's
those two
lottery.
So here's how I know they never come in last. I have never come in last in an individual or partnered challenge. We came in last. Me and Tori nominated ourselves, and we came in last in this group situation. And that, which was the first time in like a large team. I've never come in last individually or in a pairing. So I know for sure that those guys don't come in last.
Yeah.
Good players don't come in last because someone always sucks. That's why we keep playing around.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone usually multiple people are terrible. So it's like, keep in mind, like, Veronica's usually there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, like Jordan and CG are never losing to whatever team Veronica's on.
Yeah.
No. The only way they got CT out was pairing him with Veronica.
Right.
You know,
that's what I'm saying.
That's when CT got last.
There's typically a Veronica, like, capable player there. So it's hard to come in last. Like, you got to get DQ'd.
Real quick, do a little preview on All Stars 5 and then get you out of here because I know you're running up against the clock. One thing I did notice is you are paired up with not paired up, but you're going to be on the season with one of your former partners, Nicole Z. Any better luck on understanding her while she's talking?
Bro, it's gotten worse. So, so now Turbo's there.
Oh my God. Is he busting out the pussy chickens already?
I don't know what language Turbo speaks.
I don't either.
I legitimately don't know. So he speaks English. This is a credit to Turbo. He speaks English. He speaks Spanish. He speaks German. He speaks whatever language they speak in. Where is he from again?
Turkey. I think
Turkish. He speaks Turkish. Yeah. He speaks like 7 languages halfway, and he'll bounce in between them all.
Oh no!
So I got him and then Nicole, and there's a few. Ashley only speaks and screams now. She only screams. She'll only scream. There's nothing else going on. They have to start moderating the amount of Adderall that people are allowed to take. They have to. They have to start moderating that. It can't be. People can't be allowed to take 80 milligrams. I can't hear you. You think you're just saying sounds. And that was half the cast. I couldn't understand half the cast. Nicole was the least of my worries. I was like, in what world am I living in?
Oh my God.
I'm like, these prescription drugs have gone too far. We've got to get these people onto beer and off of prescription drugs.
Literally.
If it comes from the ground, it's probably okay.
It's probably okay. It was insane. Yeah. It was insane. It was insane. And I'm not going to name any names, but the people who I'm talking about know who they are. And you need to.
I think we'll probably figure it out.
Cut your dose in by 3/4. Okay, everyone. There's no need for it.
Did Turbo at any point like have a flashback and think he was in a pillow fight in a ring
again?
Yeah.
Dude, Turbo is so interesting. I don't want to say too much. I really don't.
Yeah.
I was an Amanda guy. I'm now not an Amanda guy. I actually am back on Amanda, but I was not a Turbo guy. I'm more of a Turbo guy now than I was.
Oh,
see, and I cut out the
that gives me hope for this season.
I'm more of a Turbo guy now than I was, for sure.
Okay.
And I cut out the level 2 pussy chicken in the intro.
You want to know who I'm all the way off of?
Yes.
I don't know if anyone's even on him. Dario.
Oh.
Sucks.
Dario.
Yeah.
Horrible television.
Like, what is he doing there?
He was the first one I messaged Karina about.
He is the reason we're getting called small stars.
Look, the only person that was on Dario was Ashley at one point.
Dario with an all-star on his shirt made me physically ill several times.
Yeah.
I was like, in what world?
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. That seems like one of those where they just couldn't fill the spot, so they just took the first person they could. Maybe that guy? I don't know. Maybe he's free.
Do you even know if it's Dario or if it's his twin?
Literally.
Who's going to know? They switch in and out.
I can assure you it's Dario.
It's Dario. Right. Last question I have for AS5, and we'll get you out of here, is, look, we see a lot of... I hate to say it this way. There's a core Vacation Alliance, and then there's some outliers. We see a few core members and a few, one or two outliers in there. Do we see the Vacation Alliance pull together in All Stars? Or is that something just you're going to have to wait and see?
So we got me, Fessy, and Nisa, and Nani.
I mean, really 3 core members, and Fessy's kind of on the outs depending on what time it is in the season if Tori's got power.
I don't want to say too much. I'm on thin ice as it is. So I will say this. The intention was for all of us to work together.
Okay,
fair enough.
Fair enough.
I like that.
We will let the surprise build up until it premieres. Obviously, this is airing as it's already on.
Oh yeah.
So we're
time traveling.
We'll stay tuned and see what happens.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Dude, Devin, I know we could sit on here and just shoot the shit with you and talk sports and all that. But
I gotta go watch some. I'm meeting my buddy at the bar at 4.
Yeah, exactly. One last thing before you get out of here. Hype song going in. Last time it was Rod Stewart's "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" Where are we at today?
Fuck. It's oh, hot damn. This is my jam. I keep it pumping until the AM.
Yes.
Throw your hands in the air. Oh, yeah. Look at, you're in our band now.
That's my
Why wasn't Devin in Vegas for Mania for karaoke, man? Come on.
I'm not allowed in Vegas. Long story. Gotta go. Love you guys.
Devin, thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you in 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Awesome to hang, y'all. Congratulations on 200. Challenge Fandom Podcast. Let's go.